Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on our live coverage on Tropical Storm Fay. I'm Chief Digital Meteorologist Leslie Hudson. Our current time here in Orlando, Florida is about 8:04. We thank you for joining us. As you know, Tropical Storm Fay, if you live in the Northeast, you know this, made landfall earlier today, a couple of hours ago, but we are still under tropical storm warnings in the northeastern U.S. So we wanted to jump on here and give you an update and let you know that there is still some rough weather out there, and there was definitely some nasty weather. So we're showing you a live camera. This is near Montauk, New York, and you can see the really rough surf there. There, of course, is an ongoing tropical storm warning issued for parts of New York into New Jersey. Even Delaware at one point today had tropical storm warnings, and including parts of Rhode Island as well, northward up into Rhode Island. So now that the center has moved inland, the latest update from the National Hurricane Center, which just came down within the last couple of minutes, actually showed that the storm itself, Fay, has weakened a bit. The winds sustained at 50 miles an hour. At one point today, the winds were at 60. We, of course, expect for it to continue to weaken now that it's inland, but still creating some headaches. So let me show you some video out of Avalon, New Jersey from earlier this afternoon. And Matt, if you want to take the, Matt Highland, our chief production coordinator, pushing the buttons for me tonight, if you want to take that full screen so we can take a look at it. There was widespread flooding in Avalon and surrounding areas earlier today when Fay was making its approach towards New Jersey. Now, there wasn't official storm surge warnings issued from the National Hurricane Center, but we saw torrential rains in many parts of New Jersey, Delaware, even parts of Maryland reporting up to 4 to 5 inches of rain. Some of the pockets were 6 inches in some of the areas. And then we've got another vantage point from New York, from the city. And again, another rainy, raw afternoon here. A lot of folks, of course, just saying no to Fay, staying indoors, trying to avoid the mess. And that's definitely been the situation as we head into the next couple of hours, you guys. We're going to be tracking a fair amount of rain that continues to move towards the northeastern U.S. So let's head back over to WSI, Matt, and we'll show you what we've been dealing with. And most of the warnings that were issued earlier today from the National Weather Service. I don't know if you guys saw that. My earring just fell off live. That's never happened. But anyway, let me show you WSI, and we can show you what's been going on. So you can see the orange there is the tropical storm warnings. The green square there, let me go ahead and use my pointer, and we can show you a little bit better what's going on. So this is, hang on one second. There we go. So here is the flood watch. This is the area that saw 4 to 6 inches of rain. There is the current tropical storm warnings. And then this line is the line that we've been watching. Now, the National Hurricane Center, the National Weather Service had a severe thunderstorm watch for this area earlier, just within this last hour. But things now quieting down, but there's still a lot of rain out here, you guys. So be careful if you're going to be in and around Pittsburgh. This rain is putting anywhere from 2 to 3 inches an hour, and there's no severe weather currently with this particular cell, but these are heavy downpours that will be affecting a lot of big metro areas in parts of Pennsylvania. So as that storm system, there's actually a cold front to the west of the remnants of Fay, or what is Fay, and these two systems kind of clashing, creating this heavy rain that we're dealing with. Now, as I scoot back over back towards the coast where the flash flood watch is, you can see that most of the rain is light. We're not dealing with anything super heavy right now, thankfully so, but I do anticipate, because we've already seen so much rain in the area, that we could see some local pockets here of a couple of inches of rain. Now, in this city, things are also looking better. I'll zoom in tight here, and you can see all the way out to the Hamptons, things are looking pretty good. But earlier today, boy, it was a mess. I'll take a quick zoom up here. Let's take a look over in Boston. Things are looking good up towards the north. Some scattered showers mainly, but the actual center of Fay is moving north at about 9 miles an hour, so it slowed down a bit. Let me pull this back out a little bit so you can see the vantage point across the northeast. But thankfully, there have not been reports of severe weather. There is a current severe thunderstorm warning down here. Let me grab my pointer so you can see it right there. Whoops, hang on one second. Let me see. There we go. There it is. So severe thunderstorm warning right here. And that's, again, thanks to this system that's headed towards the east. So there'll be a fair amount of weather that we're going to be dealing with for the next several hours into the overnight. So if you've got plans in the northeastern U.S., and I'll put this in motion now, you see the rotation there with Fay, there's definitely going to be some opportunity for some severe weather. So make sure you have your app handy. You can track in our wind layer in the app where the winds are coming from. That's very helpful if you're going to be out tonight and you've already made plans you can't cancel. I know a lot of local officials are just telling folks to stay in tonight, stay off the roads, stay off the highways, because again, the winds with Fay are still sustained at 50 miles an hour. So the gusts there will be anywhere from 55, 60, and some pockets could be a little bit higher than that. I think for the most part, you are going to get sustained winds in this area of the country around 20 to 30 miles an hour in this outer periphery. There's just a small wind field there that has those sustained winds of 50, but there's still going to be folks that are going to be getting those winds. So here's the latest info from the National Hurricane Center, and I keep saying 50 miles an hour, and I knew it was 45, so I apologize. Sustained winds are now 45 miles an hour as of the 8 p.m. update, not 50. I had that in my head for some reason. So there's the info: 36.0 north, 74.8 west, moving north at about 8 miles an hour. The pressure 1,005, and the official path from the National Hurricane Center not changing much. They actually kept the 48-hour forecast on the map, but they think that Fay will actually lose tropical characteristics and all of its organization before Sunday. However, they did go ahead and keep that in the path so you can see where it's headed, and it will quickly move into Canada by tomorrow night and through the overnight at the latest. Really should be out of the United States sometime tomorrow afternoon, but still going to have some leftover impact. So again, I don't want you to put your guard down. There still will be some squalls. There still will be the possibility for some localized flooding in some of these pockets, and I definitely think there's going to be some opportunity for some wind. There is the current tropical storm warnings from the National Hurricane Center. I suspect we will see those change tonight at 11, or at least we should see some of that come down, because now that Fay has moved in, the direct impacts along the coast and inland should start to lessen now that it continues to weaken. But we'll see if they don't keep those inland warnings, or if they keep those warnings up, or if they change them for the 11 p.m. update. In terms of the wind impacts, that started early this morning, folks waking up to Fay's calling card across the Northeast and the Delmarva. And as we headed into today, of course, everything was kind of moving inland. And as we move into tomorrow, the official path, again, following right up into the Northeast through Canada, into the Maritimes. After that will not be a tropical feature. But the winds, again, tomorrow, I still expect it in the neighborhood 25, 30 miles an hour. And that's enough if you have lawn furniture, or if you've got, flag poles that may be old, or you have weakened tree branches. That's all fair game with winds at that neighborhood. So you could see some damage. You could see some debris flying around. And if you do have weakened tree limbs, that also can produce power outages if they're close to power lines. So keep that in mind as well. So here's a computer model that starts pretty much at 8 o'clock tonight. And these are the gusts. And this is what we've seen verified tonight so far. We've seen the gusts anywhere in the neighborhood of 25, 30 miles an hour. And as we head through the overnight, should pretty much stay in that ballpark. I think we're going to see a couple of pockets here where they'll be a little bit higher than that. And then as we head into tomorrow, things are going to start to improve quickly across parts of Pennsylvania and New York. And then into the New England states, we'll see some of these leftover pockets of higher wind. But again, at the threshold, that's 20, 25 miles an hour. So to give you perspective, a severe thunderstorm has to have winds greater than 58 miles an hour. So if you've been in a severe thunderstorm, which most of us have, you can equate that to about half of what you would get from a severe thunderstorm. But still, I always, you've got to not look at the category of a particular cyclone, or in this case, tropical storm. You've got to look at the impacts that could be affecting you. And again, that's some brief power outages, some localized flooding. We already saw that in New Jersey, widespread flooding in New Jersey this morning as Fay moved onshore. And then again, tomorrow, we'll see some residual wind factors as it moves up into the New England states. And then after that, we should be done with all of Fay well into Sunday. Sunday looking a lot better as the system will be well to our north. Here's a look at the storm report. So some of these that I'm over in the Central Plains right now, and the Great Lakes in the Midwest, these obviously are not from Fay, but I wanted to show you it's been a busy weather day, not just with Fay, but over back into the central and mid-central United States. So we've had a lot of hail. There's been a couple of reported tornadoes, and there's also been some wind damage. Now this will shift back over towards the east where Fay is, and you can see that we we definitely have had some reports. There's been some official reports, tropical reports in the particular through parts of New Jersey, New York, and just right offshore there's been some wind reports that were in excess of 60 miles an hour before Fay actually made it inland. So as we head into tonight, I expect to see mainly that bulk of that one line that's over western Pennsylvania to be the biggest round of severe weather, but there's still going to be some leftover rain for parts of New York and into Pennsylvania as we head through tonight. So this computer model starts things off, and as you can see, it does a pretty decent job. There's still going to be, remember, these tropical cyclones are round shape, and they can sometimes drag what's called the outer band of some moisture coming off the Atlantic. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that, and our computer model shows this. Some of these heavier bands may be moving near parts of the Boston area through the overnight tonight, and then up into the rest of the New England states tonight. So be aware that even though the center may not be near you, the actual impacts can still be widespread. They can be several hundred miles away from the actual center. So our model here shows that some of those outer bands could be impacting that area of the country as we head through the overnight. So I just want you to be aware of that. And if you hear things knocking around outside, that's likely what it is, as the remnant Fay, probably at that point, remnant Fay moves up towards the northeast. And again, out of here by late Saturday and into Sunday, we should be done with this system. But certainly this has been an unusual, record-breaking tropical storm. You may not know this. We've never hit the letter F this early in the hurricane season. Normally we hit the letter F much later in the hurricane season, maybe even as late as in October in a more typical season. But we got such an early start on the 2020 hurricane season. We're already at the letter F. So Fay already setting a record as a tropical storm for forming this early, because remember, we're only in July now, and we have a long way to go. We have to the end of November. So it's been a busy season, even though we've had a couple of weeks here where we haven't talked about a tropical system. All right, here's a look at the storm forecast. And as we head through tonight and into tomorrow, up to 2.5 inches of rain for Albany possible, up into the northeastern New England states. Again, 1 to 2 more additional rainfall totals for you. I do think there will be some higher pockets of 3 to 4 inches. And remember, if you've already gotten a couple of inches and you had flooding today, or you had standing water today, and you get another 2 inches of rain tonight or tomorrow, you're going to see some more flooding problems. So remember that as you're making your preps for tomorrow, that some of these outer rotation out, some of the outer bands there could fill in. You can see some of that heavy rain right along the U.S.-Canadian border as we head into the next couple of days. All right, here is a look at our last 48 hours. So there at the bottom of the screen, you can see Fay as it was coming up the coast there, leaving the Carolinas, and just starting to impact parts of the Delmarva. And then as it made it inland today, really, I think New Jersey probably got the worst weather from Fay, at least today. And then here comes that cold front that's to the west that's going to be kind of colliding with all this unsettled tropical air and adding to the enhancing the rain and the storm chances as we head into tonight and tomorrow. As we look at the lower 48, though, things are really looking nice across the central U.S., except for the heat, where it's really been a major problem down in Texas, Oklahoma. We have had really life-threatening heat indices that have been close to 110 and 115, and out in the deserts it's been super hot. It's really not expected to get better, by the way, until maybe as early as Monday in some of the states down across the south and the southwest. So there's two big weather stories, Fay, and then we have this really hot, dry, dangerous air that's across the central United States, with really no hope for any break in that in the next day or so. So again, take those precautions. So we also have a stalled front that's been kind of looping across the southeast. That's helping to enhance the rain across the deep south. We've seen a lot of storms there, but of course, most of the activity has been tropical in nature across the Delmarva and the mid-Atlantic. And as we head into tomorrow, that storm system, that cold front I told you that's tracking towards the west, gonna kind of help push Fay northward and accelerate it, pick it up and make it move quicker. So that'll be a good thing, get it out of the U.S. quicker. But still, for a tropical storm, we've had some decent impacts from this system today, and it's still not done. There's still the opportunity for some more weather tonight. So I think that's my last graphic. Let me put the radar back up. And Matt, if you want to take this full, I'll go ahead and take a quick look at the chat. I'm on Facebook currently, and I'll take we're across all of our social media platforms, but I'll take a look and see if there is a question or two that I can answer on Facebook. So we've got a lot of people from Florida joining us. So a big shout out to all those folks. So we've got someone from Staten Island in New York. Hey, Vivian, Joanne. And let's see. We've got Ken. And yeah, Ken, he's saying it's a nothing burger pretty much. But you know what? If you were in Avalon, New Jersey, Ken, you probably weren't saying that because it was a pain in the rear end to get around today. Okay, so someone, Allie is talking about San Antonio. I was just talking about the heat there. Jersey, Ken says it's all calm. That's great news. And we got a big hello from Brenda and Buffalo. All right, cool. Thanks you guys for checking in with us. And let me just show you that one cell, this one line of weather. Again, this is directly unrelated to Fay. This is part of that frontal boundary that's tracking towards the east. But there is definitely some heavy duty rain packed into that particular line of weather that extends just right over Puxatawny, south into Upper Yoder, Somerset as well. And that again, the rain rate with this is about 2 to 3 inches an hour. So that will create localized flooding problems in this area of the country as we head through the next hour, 2 hours. This should start to hopefully weaken a bit. There is a severe thunderstorm warning down towards the south, as I mentioned. Let me just take a quick peek, see if we see anything else. Nope, it's all pretty much right here in New York and Pennsylvania. And then up in New York, by the way, of course, we've got moderate rain. This is directly related to Fay. That's near Binghamton and then up into Syracuse, just on the outer fringes now. Not really quite seeing anything there, but some of that's going to lift north tonight. So do expect to see that because, again, the forward movement of Fay right now is north at about 9 miles an hour. Should see that slow down. Pick up a little bit as we get into the remainder of tonight. So I'm just taking a quick peek, see if I see anything on the radar that I want to point out to you guys, but I don't really see anything in terms of severe weather, which is good. You know, one of the common scenarios with a landfalling tropical system doesn't have to be a hurricane is tornadoes. So we often get worried that you can get a brief spin up from a tornado with the friction from the tropical cyclone as it's moving on but that has not been the case with Fay, thankfully. We'll keep an eye on that for you tonight for the best chance for severe weather, but hopefully we will not see too much of that. But I think that's going to do it, you guys. Just wanted to give you an update. It's currently 8:20 here in our Orlando studios, and we'll keep an eye on the weather for you with Fay for the rest of tonight. And I thank you guys so much for joining us. If you've got any questions about Fay or the weekend forecast, drop me a comment either on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also drop a question on YouTube, and I'll go back and try and answer those for you. If not, we will see you back here tomorrow with our fast forecast. And then Stephanie Lauber is also in tomorrow to helm the leftovers of Fay for you guys. And I think that'll do it. So have yourselves a very safe night. Hope you're staying safe. You can follow us on Twitter. Let me give you the social handles real quick before we jump off this live broadcast. If you are trying to find us, there they are at the bottom of your screen. You can find us really easy at My Radar, and all one word on all of our channels, or in some cases My Radar WX. But again, we appreciate you guys following us, and make sure if you do join our YouTube channel that you subscribe to the channel and that you get the notifications when we are going live, because you'll get a push notification when we are going live or when we drop new content. Okay, you guys, that'll do it for this Friday evening. I hope you stay safe, stay dry, have a great night.